Critical selection of information. Introduction. The Internet and other new media are a rich source of various types of information from almost every field of science, politics, or types of information from almost every field of science, politics, or social life. However, it can happen that the information presented is not reliable and may even be false. Sometimes the authors themselves do not know or realize that they are presenting unreliable information. And sometimes they intentionally mislead users of the Internet. To protect yourself and others from errors resulting from accepting unreliable and untrue information as credible, it is necessary to have the competence of critical thinking. Critical thinking allows us to make a critical selection of information, especially when knowledge from a specific field is required. Critical selection of information also allows us to deal with information chaos. We receive information every day, whether we like it or not. Thanks to the competency of critical thinking, we can decide whether the information is real, valuable, or worth reading and remembering. In addition, critical selection of information is part of the skill known as information literacy, which is considered one of the most important competencies in the information society. What is critical selection of information? Critical selection of information is a component of critical thinking competence. It means that those who receive the information can assess the credibility and reliability of this piece of information, including the usefulness of this information. A critical evaluation of the information presented in a book, a magazine, on a website, or social media presupposes currency, relevance, author or authority, accuracy, purpose, and objectivity, or CRAAPO. Firstly, currency. The up-to-dateness of information refers to the extent to which the given information is consistent with the actual state at the time when it is to be used. In the modern world, new knowledge is created extremely quickly, and information becomes outdated even faster. So it's important to determine whether the information is thematically up to date and what the update frequency of the presented content is. As for content presented on the Internet, frequent website updates increase its credibility. To determine whether information is up to date, the following questions can be helpful. Do you know when the website presenting the information was created? The creation date of the website is sometimes placed in the website footer or in the About This Website tab. This date can be checked with the National Domain Registry or via who.is. Are published materials provided with the date of publication or creation? Is the content regularly updated? So, is the date of the most recent update of the page listed? The date of the last update is often placed in the footer of the page. Is the information in the field that you are looking for up to date with the current state of knowledge? Finally, it is worth checking whether the previous state of knowledge or previous research results were provided by the author of the information provided. Relevance. Relevance considers the importance of the information for your research. It refers to how close the information is to the problem in question. Relevant information meets the needs of the seeker. Here are the questions you should address when assessing the relevance of information. Is the information significant to the topic of your research? Is the information useful to you in its entirety? Does the website present unique information that cannot be found in other sources? Or does it only duplicate publicly available information which is unverified and/or unreliable? And is the information you have found sufficient to process it into specific knowledge or to solve a problem? Author or authority? An author who presents credible, reliable information or who is an authority in a specific field signs their work. This simple rule is the first step in evaluating information critically. Credible, identifiable authorship is a feature of information that is related to the author's responsibility for the published content. It is worth asking a few questions when starting critical selection of information. Is the name of the author or the represented organization given? On many websites, information about the author can be obtained in the tab About Us or About the Author, Who We Are, etc. A lack of information about the authorship of the text does not preclude the use of the information, in which case a uniform resource locator or URL analysis is needed. This may be done, for example, via the who.is service, enabling you to check who the domain is registered to or in which country it was created. Look for answers in this respect. Who is the author, the publisher, source, or sponsor? What are their credentials? Are they experts in the field of information you are researching? Is there contact information, such as a publisher or email address? Is the information part of the main web page, or is it a separate document? Furthermore, does the URL reveal anything about the author or source? Authoritative URLs are .com, .net, .org, commercial or organizational, .edu, educational institutions, .gov for government, or .mil for military. If the author of the text is signed, it is worth checking additional information about them. Sometimes websites provide references and qualifications or education of the person publishing the information. The information will also be reliable and useful if the information is related to a valued institution. Is the information quoted by other people? You can check citations via Google Scholar, as well as citation databases offered by the Web of Science platform, Social Science Index, Science Citation Index Expanded, Arts and Humanities Citation Index, and the Book Citation Index. Access to databases is usually provided by academic libraries to their students. Is the person posting the online information the original author? Perhaps the information is copied from another source or is written based upon it. In such a situation, the information should be provided with a bibliography or footnotes. Finally, does the website providing the information allow contact with its author? Accuracy. The concept of information accuracy is ambiguous and may be considered in many ways. First, it refers to the degree of detail of the information and the precision of its presentation. In addition, accuracy is related to the extent to which the information responds to the needs of its recipient. In other words, to what extent it is needed. Thirdly, accuracy is related to the extent to which the content of the information found is adequate to the level of knowledge of the recipient. Therefore, it should not exceed the person's ability to understand the information, and it should answer the research question accurately and precisely. Accuracy is also the precision of presenting information. When considering the accuracy of information, it is worth asking the following questions. Is the information formulated in a clear, logical, and understandable way? Is it detailed enough to solve the problem that has driven you to search for the answer? Does the content of the information contain familiar terminology? Is it relevant to the topic of information? Does the information contain errors of various kinds, such as grammar, spelling, or style? And has the information been enriched with links or references that constitute an extension of the presented state of knowledge? And of course, do these links work? Purpose. Purposefulness refers to the reason the information exists. The purpose of the site or source is the goal of the author. Ultimately, the question is, why was this source created? A clear purpose helps the reader understand whether the information they are looking for is appropriate for their research. Furthermore, the author's intentions should be clear. Certain aspects should also be taken into consideration, such as whether the information given is a fact, an opinion, or whether it presents propaganda, as well as including political, personal, religious, or ideological bias. Knowing the purpose of the information helps make researching for sources a lot easier. Now, the following questions may be helpful when evaluating the purposefulness of information. What is the purpose of the information? Is it to inform, teach, sell, entertain, to persuade? Do the authors or sponsors make their intentions or purpose clear? Is the information fact, opinion, propaganda? And does the point of view appear objective and impartial? Finally, are there political, ideological, cultural, religious, institutional, or personal biases? Objectivity. When information is selected critically, its quality should be assessed. Good quality information should be impartial, objective, based on facts, and separate from the author's own opinion. Ideally, the author presents different points of view on a matter. To assess the objectivity of information, the following questions should be answered. Is the website or the source sponsored? Does it contain advertising or propaganda? Does the information contain the author's own opinion? And if so, is it visibly separated from the rest of the content? Is the information emotional? Is it based on facts? In other words, is it supported by other sources of information? And finally, is the information placed in a broader context? For example, religious, ideological, political, commercial, cultural? Summary. Critical selection of information is an important part of the critical thinking competence. It can be said that it is a sub-competence, which is a response to the information chaos that we witness today. The ability to critically analyze and assess the content enables us to extract necessary, reliable, and credible information from this chaos. To learn how to critically select information, It is worth knowing the CRAAPO model, which allows you to evaluate the information properly.